Empathy requires us to be able to imagine ourselves in the other person's situation. This is understood by most service professionals, but few apply it in practice. In this video, we shall explore a three-dimensional approach to empathy. We all have experienced good and bad service. As a customer, my most memorable service experience was with a telecom service provider. It was my very first mobile phone, and since I was not used to carrying a handset, I inadvertently misplaced the phone. I was disturbed. To add, everyone had something to remark about how irresponsible I was and how I must learn to manage my belongings. With all this going on in my mind, I had to call the service provider and request for blocking my SIM. I remember being so distressed, I was just rambling away. I kept saying, I lost my phone. I could not even construct a proper sentence to convey my request. At this point, the executive at the other end responded, I'm so sorry that you lost your phone. I just started weeping. It was not so much about those words, but the empathy with which it was conveyed. I felt a sense of relief that someone finally understood my plight. There were no fancy customer service phrases, only a genuine attempt to do away with my anxiety and get me to focus on the next steps. Try to recall what was your best experience as a customer at a financial institution or a supermarket or a local grocery store. Think how the service provider demonstrated empathy or they didn't. Observing your own emotions as a customer is a great start to building empathy. The biggest hindrance to empathy is our own ego and bias. Let's understand this. It is known that our life experiences influences the way we think about people and situations. And because each person has a unique experience of life, our perceptions will be different. This means that each person will have a different point of view. Take for example this popular image. It first appeared in a German postcard in the 19th century. While many viewed this as being a picture of a young girl looking away, many saw an old lady looking sideways. A few years ago, this image of a dress gained a lot of buzz in social media. There were arguments on whether the dress is blue or white. There's an ancient parable about 6 blind men and an elephant where each blind person perceives the elephant as a rope or a tree or a wall depending upon what they touch or sense. Having an opinion or a point of view is only natural. The problem arises when we believe that our point of view is a fact. This belief gives rise to various kinds of biases in our mind. The biases in turn distorts our rational thinking and judgment. And that is the biggest roadblock to empathy. This customer has too many complaints. Their expectations are too high. He is too demanding. She just does not understand. It is the customer's fault. If you have ever believed these or similar statements, then your biases are impacting your job performance. A practical way to deal with this is to refrain from blaming a situation or a person. Instead, focus on the resolution. Suppress your tendency for fault finding. It will improve your clarity of thought by building objectivity and greatly enhance your customer interactions. As sales or service executives, we are dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of queries and customer objections. Most queries are repetitive. For example, someone may want a refund, cancel a subscription, or change their address. Someone may feel that the product is too highly priced, and so on. When we encounter the same objections and queries time and again, it is natural to feel frustrated at having to keep repeating ourselves. We assume that customers must know the answers because we have explained it so many times. When something is so clear, so obvious to us, we presume it is a matter of common sense, which again is a bias. Most executives focus on what to speak instead of how to empathize with the customer. When we empathize, we will know that the query may be old, but the customer is new. With empathy, response flows naturally. While we must know the service protocols or product features, this knowledge cannot be a substitute for empathy. Customers are capable of sensing whether you're speaking from a point of empathy or responding superficially through a memorized script. Response must be customized in a manner that customers not only understands or agrees but appreciates your solution. Are we placing the proposition from their point of view? Are we simplifying it for them? Are we speaking their language? That way, sales or service is no longer a mundane activity of repeating our pitch. It is about using an opportunity to build a strong customer connect by making a positive difference, one customer at a time.